I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at Avengers issue number 678. The Grand Master has trapped Earth's mightiest heroes in a deadly game with seemingly no rules. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out. Alright, so much like the previous issues in this series, No Surrender picks a hero and lets them have the bulk of narration duty. This time around, it's Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and wouldn't you know it, much like how he's been portrayed for the last few years, he feels unsure about himself and wonders what Mr. Fantastic would do if he was here right now. Getting lost in his own thoughts proves to be a problem because he whizzes right past the Falcon who's trying to give orders and directly into the line of fire. Now, over in Rome, Jane Foster isn't doing much better when it comes to dealing with the Metal Master, who has the power to, you guessed it, manipulate her hammer and steal it from her. This takes the team by surprise, and they realize that they should probably just hang back for a little bit and do some recon on who exactly these Lethal Legion guys are before proceeding. Or as Hercules so wonderfully puts it, Avengers, observe. Synapse does her part, what with being the psychic on the team. She probes the minds of the bad guys to try and get some insight, but these villains' thoughts prove to be a lot more to take than you might think. You know, like the reason behind kids eating Tide Pods or Ugandan knuckles. The funny thing is the Grandmaster's shadow opponent talks mad shit about him choosing to use the Lethal Legion to represent him. This conversation is interesting because it would seek to imply that whoever the shadow opponent is, he's totally not Thanos, he's just using Thanos' squad. Now what about Quicksilver? You may recall he got turned into blue crystal in the last issue, just like a bunch of other Avengers did. Voyager teleports him to the magic users on the team, who did manage to get Vision out of his crystal prison. They start to think aloud that maybe, just maybe, they may very well have traded one member of the team for another without knowing it. Now all throughout this story, we've heard the two bad guy factions talking about something called pyramids and how they are central to the game they seem to be playing. Supergiant goes to grab one of these in Rome, only when he does, he ends up seemingly exploding into dust. So does that count as a win or a loss, I wonder? Transversely, back over in Peru, Johnny Storm, again being hot-headed, rushes ahead of the rest of the team to grab a pyramid before the bad guys can. Only in doing so, he too seemingly looks like he's about to explode as the comic ends. So that was Avengers No Surrender, everybody, and while it's still mostly an action-centric issue, I still enjoyed it for what it was. The writers use the different teams' unique powers to good effect here, and they get a nice showcase. The age and experience gap between some heroes actually becomes a focal point of the story, something I hope they continue to explore as the story moves forward. Pepe Larza is once again eye-poppingly beautiful in his art, especially in the big action scenes. I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. So that was No Surrender, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, be sure to take a closer look at some of these other videos I've been working on from throughout the week. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you always know what I'm doing next. And hey, if you like what I do and are feeling in a supportive mood, please by all means check out my Patreon, link down in the description. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and they can do so for as little as $1 a month. So until next time, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again later. Bye-bye.